You are now listening to On1 Radio, the talk show podcast station, bringing you the current events and issues. All information and resources are based on the opinions of the host unless otherwise noted. This podcast may contain some quotations, images, and or excerpts from copyrighted material. These uses fall well within the copyright doctrine of fair use. This is your news report, and I am your host, Tony. Welcome to all my listeners and all of my day ones. You are listening to Let's Talk's News Report. Now, today, I'm pretty much doing updates on previous stories that I've done. So, I'm updating on the black consumer at a California hotel and what he experienced and is now going through, as well as the topic on the Lakeside Academy and the death of a young man. And last but not least, you guys may remember amber-guyger, the former Dallas police officer who killed a man in his own home. So I'm going to go through these and give you a little bit of an update on what has taken place thus far. Now, starting with the California hotel. Now, we all know, we've all been to hotels and we've experienced some sort of a little racism here and there, but does it really compare to what this man has experienced? Now, a 3-night stay at the Fremont Marriott Silicon Valley ended the stay after Vinegar said a car pulled up behind him, and it turned out to be hotel manager William-gheen. And he went on to state that William-gheen jumped out and told Vinegar to get the F off the property. Now, that's according to the lawsuit, which names Gheen, Marriott International, and the hotel's franchise and management company, Fremont Hotel Operating Company, and Remington Hotels. Now, the lawsuit was filed against Alameda County Hotel, saying he was discriminated against and berated by a manager while taking on a phone call in the hotel's parking lot during his stay there. He was in his car, so there wasn't really a need for any of that to take place, but unfortunately it did. Now, the lawsuit doesn't specify any damages, but he is demanding that Marriott hotels screen people for racial bias before hiring them to be managers. That's understandable. And hopefully hitting their pockets will make them understand and realize that what happened was truly wrong. Now, he did also go on to state that he'd been subject to certain looks, certain stereotypes, but he said nothing as blatant as what he experienced at the hotel has never happened to him. Now, he did, in fact, film this via his cell phone. So, we definitely want to take that experience that he went through as a lesson and record any uncomfortable whatever interactions you have, so that way you have some proof of what's going on, so these people can be held accountable for. Now, when I get more information on this lawsuit, I will definitely update you guys on that part. So if you're out there in Silicon Valley and you are a darker shade of skin tone, I would not suggest going to that hotel. I just wouldn't. But it's totally up to you guys. Just be aware, be careful, and know your rights and act accordingly. Now, moving along to Lakeside Academy. Now, a lot of people do know of this situation. Cornelius-Fredricks, he was 16 when he died after being restrained by several Lakeside Academy staff members for throwing a sandwich in the youth facility's cafeteria. Now, that took place on April 29th of 2020. Now, out in Kalamazoo, Lakeside Academy is once again in the national spotlight. Now, that's due to a 2-year investigation into Sequel Youth and Family Services, which also operated the now closed Lakeside Academy in Kalamazoo. They got to check. You definitely got to check because that really shouldn't have happened. And it was unfortunate that it did, but it did shed light onto what was taking place there. Now, Lakeside Academy's license was suspended and later revoked by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Now, attorney Geoffrey Feger filed a motion in Kalamazoo County Circuit Court to disqualify Daniel Ferris, the attorney representing Lakeside Academy, and its parent company, Sequel Youth of Michigan. Now, the family of Cornelius-Fredricks did also file a $100 million wrongful death lawsuit against Lakeside Academy. And it was based on a claim that Ferris instructed Lakeside employees not to answer questions about what happened to the team during disposition hearings on the grounds that attorney-client privilege did not require them to do so. So you can kind of see how it gets really fishy and things can get really sticky. And these companies will try to find loopholes to get out of trouble. But they should be held accountable. And I will update you as well to any further news that comes from this family's lawsuit for wrongful death. But definitely, if there are children in youth facilities and you are able to go and check on them, please do so to make sure these facilities stay on top of their toes and actually do their jobs properly. Because it didn't take seven facility workers to hold this child down for throwing a sandwich. Like, it was throwing a sandwich. Come on. Let's use some common sense. But just be aware, stay on top of it so we can protect these children. Now, going on to amber-guyger, the former Dallas police officer. Now, this one was really a touchy subject for a lot of people. If you weren't aware, amber-guyger was convicted of shooting and killing william-gheen, who lived in an apartment directly above hers. Now, according to her argument, she mistakenly got off on the wrong floor and entered his apartment, thinking he was an intruder in her home. Well, after only serving a year and a half of a 10-year sentence, she had her appeal heard by a panel of judges. The city made sure that there was new personnel appointed to the case. Dallas County District Attorney's Office filed a petition to have Judge Tammy Kemp recused from overseeing hearings and replaced by another judge. Now, Guyger appeared in court to appeal her murder conviction on April 27th, and as expected, Guyger is sticking with her story of mistaking the victim's apartment for her own. So, basically, the victim becomes the crook and therefore deserved to die in 2018. I mean, that's basically what it means for Guyger and her legal team, by any means necessary, right? I mean, let's look at it. She's seeking to have the conviction and case pretty much thrown out. And we kind of all know what that means. Now, there are a few problems with that. One being, she admitted at the 2019 trial that she intended to shoot to kill and to go on to shoot twice, making sure of the damage. And two, there was jury instruction in the 2019 trial that shouldn't have taken place, a mistake on an appeal. Why? Why would anything come up on that at all, let alone become instruction to the jury on it in the midst of an open and ongoing trial? It really makes you wonder, is this the way for amber-guyger to have an out? Is this the loophole that they tried to use? So basically it makes you wonder, okay, so with a mistake, whatever happens from that mistake, I can, just use that as an excuse. It was a mistake, and whatever happened after that, it just happened. No, they're not buying it. An actual mistake or even an excuse of mistake doesn't change the fact that she murdered william-gheen in his own home. He was eating ice cream and watching TV. And state isn't buying it as well. The state contends that her mistake of entering the wrong apartment did not negate the intent in killing the person inside. Therefore, it was inappropriate for a jury instruction to be given at the 2019 trial. And of course, like I said, Guyger's sticking to her story. So her defense team stands on their feelings that state has yet to meet its burden on finding of murder. They are now moving on to request a panel of appellate judges to replace the jury's verdict with their own determination. So the judges on that panel will be Chief Justice Robert D. Burns III and Justice Lana Myers, as well as Robbie Partita Kipnis, will hear arguments and issue a written decision at a later date. So this woman, she's really and truly trying to get out of the situation. What do you all think? Should she get out? And what did William-Gheen's mom have to say? Well, in a statement from her home in St. Lucia, Amber-Guyger needs to sit where she is in prison and accept responsibility for what she did to my son, my family, my country, my world. And we can all understand how she feels. And Amber-Guyger and those around her should understand, they need to understand that just because you have been forgiven does not mean you should not be held accountable for what you did. It does not excuse what you did. And according to Texas law, the finding of murder under Texas law requires providing beyond a reasonable doubt a person intentionally or knowingly caused the death of an individual and intends to cause serious bodily injury and commits an act clearly dangerous to human life that causes the death of an individual. So, guys, in this case, I don't see any doubts. What do you all think about it? And as an ending note, William-Gheen's family is in fact set to sue the apartment complex where Guyger fatally shot him. So they are trying to hold all those that could be responsible accountable. And it just goes to show that we really do have a serious problem within the United States when it comes to racism, bias, and everything that just goes with it. Now, these have been your updated news reports. And there's always another news. So everyone take care, be well, and have a safe and blessed and productive day.
You have been listening to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station, bringing you the current events and issues. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my news report. I wish you the best. For more, you can find On One Radio on Facebook, YouTube. The name over there is Tony On One, and it is available on most of your favorite podcast sites and apps. If there is a news report that you would like to share, email onOneRadioTalk@gmail.com. Place it to the attention of news reports. Stay safe, take care, and be well. There's always another story.